Gajananam Bhudaganadisevitam Kavitta Jambufala Pakshitam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam. Namaste. In this video, I am blessed to talk about Lord of Beginnings, Ganesha, the remover of obstacles and bringer of good fortune, wealth and spiritual enlightenment. In this Ganesha Chaturthi special video, let me share with you the spiritual praises of Ganesha, his association with Vedic astrology, mythological stories and do's and don'ts. Ganesha Chaturthi, which is Ganesha birthday, should be more precisely called as Incarnation Day of Ganesha. Scriptures mention that he incarnated on the fourth moon, Hasta star, on Bhadra month in the Hindu calendar, which corresponds to mid of August and mid of September in the Gregorian calendar. First, let's see how scriptures praise Ganesha's supreme power, benevolence and omniscient attributes. Ganesha Purana explains Ganesha's life story, supreme power and virtues. There is mention in Ganesha Purana about his incarnation in 4 different yugas, that is Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and briefly in Kali Yuga. Ganesha was called Vinayaka in Krita Yuga, portrayed in big body with 10 arms riding in a lion. Ganesha as Vinayaka is hailed as a very benevolent deity in giving gifts and boons. In Treta Yuga, Ganesha was called Mayureshwara. Mayureshwara means one who rides on peacock. He was described as white complexion with 6 arms. Ganesha manifests in the form of Gajanana in Dwapara Yuga, riding on a mouse, Mushika, with 4 arms and red complexion. He was born to Shiva Parvati in Dwapara Yuga. And finally, according to Ganesha Purana, in the Kali Yuga, he goes by the name Dhumraketu, with 2 arms and smoky complexion and mounted on a horse. This Ganesha fights barbarian armies and kills demons in Kali Yuga. The Vedic text Ganapati Adarva Sirasa, also called as Ganapati Upanishad, is a part of Adarvana Veda. This sacred Sanskrit text glorifies Ganesha as Karta, creator, Darta, the sustainer, and Harta, the destroyer of the universe. This text adores him as a visible Tattvam, that is the core principle, visible Atman, the soul, Brahman, the bestower of consciousness, and eternal, ultimate reality. It also hails Ganesha as an eternal being and portrays him as the image of primordial sound, Om. It further says that he existed even before the creation of nature, Prakriti, and consciousness, Purusha, meaning Ganesha existed even before the creation process started. Now let me explain the association of Ganesha and Vedic astrology. As per Vedic astrology, the enlightenment planet Ketu is ruled by Ganesha. Ketu is headless. Ketu is the body of snake. Likewise, the human body of Ganesha was cut off and later replaced with an elephant's head. Ketu rules the star Ashwini, Maha and Mula. Ashwini ruled by Ketu is the first among the 27 stars. Stars are divided into sets of 9, Ashwini to Ashlesha, Magha to Jeshta, and Mula to Revati. Interestingly, all these 3 sets of 9 stars starts with Ketu star. This is why Ketu is the beginning and Ganesha, the Lord of beginnings, is the ruler of Ketu. Ketu is Mokshakaraka. Without Ketu, there is no end to the soul cycle. This is why in some Vedic texts, he has assigned sign Pisces as the Mula Tirikona Rasi, 12th house of natural zodiac as the Moksha or enlightenment house. Why Ketu is associated with Moksha? Because Ketu is headless. No analysis or logic can help us to attain enlightenment. Only we stop thinking or thought ceases, we will be able to liberate ourselves. When we have your conscious mind, you keep thinking, analyzing, reasoning, questioning and judging, which will not allow you to reach your spiritual goals. Okay, coming back to the stars ruled by Ketu, the another star Maha's deity is Pitris, or ancestors. In that way, Ganesha is also related to our ancestors. Every year, Ganesha Chaturthi is celebrated before the beginning of Pitru Paksha, that is Malaya Paksha, fortnight of ancestors. Not only that, if you notice, all the major Hindu festivals will start only after Ganesha Chaturthi. So coming to Mula now, Mula is another star ruled by Ketu. Mula's symbol is the roots tied together. That is why Ganesha is often found under the tree in most part of India. This star is also associated with the Mooladhara Chakra, the root chakra, which is the first, which is seated at the end of our spine. Ganesha governs this chakra. Apart from these Ketu ruled stars, the star Uttarashada is also associated with Ganesha, as one of its symbols is broken tusk. Ganesha broke his tusk to write Mahabharata when the great sage Vyasa requested him. Ganesha started writing with a peacock feather. It frequently broke, hindering his writing process. Ganesha did not want to waste time, so he broke his tusk and continued to write. That is why Uttarashada gets associated with Ganesha. In a birth chart, if a planet is placed in the star, Uttarashada, it can bring teeth problem. Especially when Mars is placed in the star, the native will have broken teeth. If the 10th Lord is associated in the star, he can become a dentist. He will be a dentist or something related to teeth. It is said that Ganesha was born in the star Hasta in the sign Virgo. He has connection with Mercury as well. Ganesha is known for his pranks and wits. He also known for his intelligence and spontaneity. In the story when Shiva and Parvati wanted to test Ganesha and his brother Muruga, his spontaneous thinking made him to win the mango fruit. Moreover, he was the first one to establish that parents are the first god for everybody. Being born in the star Hasta, which means hands, he invariably blesses and lends helping hand to the devotees and never lets them down. That is the reason when Mercury is exalted in his own sign Virgo, Ganesha Chaturthi is celebrated. This year it is very special because Mercury and Sun will receive the direct aspect from Jupiter. This is happening after 12 years because Jupiter will be in the sign Pisces only after 12 years. Okay, now it's story time. Let me share some stories from Ganesha Purana to understand the magnificence of Ganesha and how he helped the three Murtis when they were stuck in their world. There was a massive destruction at the end of the Yuga. Excessive rain and heat wiped out all the lives that exist in the earth. Lord Ganesha appeared as Vakratunda. His huge presence made the three Murtis, that is Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, to bow down at his feet. Ganesha sent the three Murtis into his huge stomach and they could see mountains, oceans, earth, celestial beings like 9 planets, 8 guardians, everything inside his stomach. Once they got the vision, Ganesha removed it from their sight and asked the Trimurti to resume their creating, sustaining and dissolution duties. In another chapter, in the same Purana, it has mentioned that Brahma was very unhappy about his creation as it was different from what he perceived. His work was not meeting his expectation and made him sad and disappointed. Brahma started to pray Ganesha. While he was in meditation, he got an extraordinary vision. In a vast ocean, a little object was floating in a leaf. Brahma went closer and saw a beautiful child in a deep slumber. He saw that it was Lord Ganesha in the leaf. And Brahma narrated his disappointment. Ganesha told, "You started your work of creation without invoking me, and that is the reason for your dissatisfaction. Now, chant my Ekakshara mantra, that is Gam, and restart your work. You will succeed." Brahma realized his mistake and started to do tapas, that is penance, reciting the mantra, Ekakshara mantra, for 12 years, continuously standing in one leg. Due to the fruit of his tapas, he invoked the power and wisdom and action, which came to him as Siddhi and Buddhi, achievement and intelligence. Using these two, Brahma started to create the universe with ease. These two stories emphasize that nothing would progress without invoking Ganesha's blessings or presence. Ganesha does not like people with ego and pride. Let me share a small story for this. Once upon a time, Kubera, the banker of heaven, was overpowered by his pride and ego. He wanted to show off his wealth and invited all the gods for feast. Kubera went to Kailasha, the abode of Shiva and Parvati, to invite them for the feast. Shiva sensed his intention and told him that he would send his little son Ganesha, who has an insatiable appetite. Blinded by his riches, Kubera did not foresee any riches in serving Ganesha. He went back to his palace and started the preparation for the feast. All the guests came, including Ganesha. Ganesha began to gobble when the food was served and finished all the food in no time without leaving anything for the guests. Kubera cannot satiate his appetite. He ran to Shiva and apologized for his mistake. Shiva asked Parvati to give Kubera a handful of roasted rice. Shiva instructed Kubera to serve this to Ganesha with humility. Kubera did as instructed by Shiva and finally satisfied the hunger of little Ganesha. So, to receive the blessings of Ganesha, you have to be humble without ego and pride. That is also one of the reasons for him to be the overlord of enlightenment planet Ketu. Ganesha is an eco-friendly god. In many parts of India, you always see Ganesha under a tree, indicating that trees are important and are to be protected. He also symbolically says, even if you are in a luxurious house or in a small hut, be grounded like a tree. During Ganesha Chaturthi, it is a traditional practice to use fresh clay to create the idol of Ganesha. People buy Ganesha made of clay to worship. This also supports our ecosystem because after Ganesha Chaturthi Puja, the idol is immersed in the river, pond or lake or in the sea. Since these idols are made of clay, which helps prevent water erosion. Creating Ganesha with clay also symbolically indicates that you can create your own god like how you perceive him. Let me share do's and don'ts on Ganesha Chaturthi day. Fast if health permits. Take blessings from your parents. Do charity. Help others in whatever way possible. Be aware of your thoughts and ego. Be kind to animals and feed them. Plant a sapling if possible or water a plant. Promise yourself to save Mother Earth and become eco-friendly. Keep chanting the Ekakshara mantra Gam throughout the day. Last but not the least, the physical representation of Ganesha. His large head represents intelligence and awareness. His big ears indicates listening is good virtue to grow. His small eyes shows the importance of focus. So, from this Chaturthi day, let's practice to listen inside and outside and be aware of our emotions and be focused in what we want in life. May Ganesha shower his choicest blessings and remove all the obstacles in your life and bring success, prosperity, and enlightenment. Namaste.